Question 1. Which famous wall was built by the Romans in Britain to defend against attacks from the Picts? A. Hadrian's Wall, B. Antonine Wall, C. Offa's Dyke, D. Answers is A. Hadrian's Wall. Hadrian's Wall, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, was built by Emperor Hadrian's legions from 122 AD to protect the Roman province of Britannia from tribes to the north, primarily the Picts. Question 2. What was the name of the monk sent by the Pope in 597 AD to re-establish Christianity in England? A. Augustine, B. C. George, D. Columba. Answers is A. Augustine. Augustine was sent by Pope Gregory I in 597 AD to convert the Anglo-Saxons to Christianity. He became the first Archbishop of Canterbury. Question 3. Which Viking king ruled England for a period in the century, creating a vast North Sea empire? A. Canute, B. Alfred the Great, C. William the Conqueror, D. Edward the Confessor. Answers is A. Canute. Canute, also known as the Great, was a Viking king who ruled England, Denmark and Norway, establishing a powerful North Sea empire in the early century. Question 4. In which year did William the Conqueror invade England and defeat King Harold at the Battle of Hastings? A. 1066, B. 1042, C. 1087, D. 1154. Answers is A. 1066. The Battle of Hastings took place on 14 October 1066. William, Duke of Normandy, defeated King Harold and subsequently became William I of England, known as William the Conqueror. Question 5. What important document limiting the power of the monarch was signed by King John in 1215? A. Magna, B. Bill of Rights, C. Corpus Act, D. Petition of Right. Answers is A. Magna. Magna Great Charter was signed by King John at Runnymede in 1215. It established that everyone, including the king, was subject to the law and guaranteed certain rights. Question 6. Which two royal houses fought in the Wars of the Roses during the century? A. York and Lancaster, B. Tudor and Stuart, C. Plantagenet and Norman, D. Windsor and Hanover. Answers is A. York and Lancaster. The Wars of the Roses were a series of civil wars fought between the houses of Lancaster Red Rose and York White Rose for the English throne, lasting from 1455 to 1487. Question 7. Who was the first Tudor monarch who came to the throne after the Battle of Field? A. Henry, B. Henry, C. Richard, D. Elizabeth I. Answers is A. Henry. Henry defeated Richard at the Battle of Field in 1485, ending the Wars of the Roses and establishing the Tudor dynasty on the English throne. Question 8. Which monarch established the Church of England, separating it from the authority of the Pope? A. Henry, B. Edward, C. Elizabeth I, D. Mary I. Answers is A. Henry. Henry broke away from the Roman Catholic Church in the, establishing the Church of England with himself as its supreme head, primarily due to his desire for an annulment. Question 9. Which famous naval battle in 1588 saw the defeat of the Spanish Armada by the English fleet? A. Battle of B, Battle of C, Battle of Salamis, D. Battle of Jutland. Answers is A. Battle of. In 1588, the Spanish Armada, a large fleet sent by King Philip of Spain to invade England, was defeated by the English navy, led by Lord and Sir Francis Drake, during battles including the Battle of. Question 10. Which Scottish monarch succeeded Elizabeth I to become the first Stuart King of England, uniting the crowns? A. James of Scotland, James I of England. B. Charles I. Mary, Queen of Scots. D. James. Answers is A. James of Scotland, James I of England. James of Scotland, son of Mary, Queen of Scots, became James I of England in 1603 after the death of Elizabeth I, thus uniting the crowns of Scotland and England. Question 11. In which year was Guy arrested for the gunpowder plot to blow up the Houses of Parliament? A. 1605, B. 1588, C. 1642, D. 1666. Answers is A. 1605. The gunpowder plot was a failed attempt by a group of English Catholics, led by Robert, to assassinate King James I and blow up the Houses of Parliament on 5 November 1605. Guy was discovered guarding the explosives. Question 12. Who led the parliamentarian forces during the English Civil War, also known as the Roundheads? A. Oliver, B. King Charles I, C. James, D. William of Orange. Answers is A. Oliver. Oliver was a key military and political leader who led the parliamentarian New Model Army to victory against King Charles I during the English Civil War, eventually becoming Lord Protector. Question 13. After the execution of King Charles I, what type of government was established in England? A republic, the Commonwealth, B. an absolute monarchy, C. a devolved parliament, D. a constitutional monarchy. Answers is A republic, the Commonwealth. Following the execution of King Charles I in 1649, England became a republic known as the Commonwealth. Oliver later became its Lord Protector. Question 14. Which monarch was to the throne in 1660, marking the end of the Commonwealth? A. Charles, B. James, C. William, D. George I. Answers is A. Charles. Charles, son of the Charles I, was invited back to the throne in 1660, ending the period of the Commonwealth and restoring the monarchy. Question 15. What major disaster struck London in 1666, destroying much of the city? A. The Great Fire of London, B. The Great Plague of London, C. The Revolt, D. The Blitz. Answers is A. The Great Fire of London. The Great Fire of London began on to September 1666, spreading rapidly through the wooden buildings of the city and destroying much of medieval London, including Cathedral. Question 16. Which Act of Parliament in 1707 united the Kingdom of England and the Kingdom of Scotland? A. Act of Union, B. Bill of Rights, C. Corpus Act, D. Reform Act. Answers is A. Act of Union. The Acts of Union 1707 formally united the Kingdom of England and the Kingdom of Scotland into a single political entity, the Kingdom of Great Britain. Question 17. Which famous British naval commander defeated the French and Spanish fleets at the Battle of in 1805? A. Admiral Lord Nelson, B. Duke of Wellington, C. Sir Francis Drake, D. Captain James Cook. Answers is A. Admiral Lord Nelson. Admiral Lord Nelson was a celebrated British naval officer who famously defeated the combined French and Spanish at the Battle of in 1805, though he was mortally wounded during the battle. Question 18. Who was the British general that defeated Napoleon Bonaparte at the Battle of Waterloo in 1815? A. Duke of Wellington, B. Lord Nelson, C. Sir Churchill, D. General Montgomery. Answers is A. Duke of Wellington. The Duke of Wellington, Arthur Wellesley, led the British and Allied forces to victory over Napoleon at the Battle of Waterloo in Belgium in 1815, effectively ending Napoleon's rule. Question 19. Which queen reigned for over 60 years in the century during a period of significant imperial expansion? A. Queen Victoria, B. Queen Elizabeth I, C. Queen Elizabeth, D. Queen Anne. Answers is A. Queen Victoria. Queen Victoria reigned from 1837 to 1901, a period known as the Victorian Era, by the peak of the British Empire and significant industrial and social change. Question 20. What major economic and social transformation began in Britain in the late century by new machinery? A. The Industrial Revolution, B. The Agricultural Revolution, C. The Glorious Revolution, D. The Digital Revolution. Answers is A. The Industrial Revolution. The Industrial Revolution started in Great Britain in the late century, involving rapid technological advancements, new manufacturing, and the growth of factory towns. Question 21. Which British social reformer campaigned for better conditions for nurses and founded modern nursing? A. Florence Nightingale, B. Elizabeth Fry, C. Mary D. Pankhurst. Answers is A. Florence Nightingale. Florence Nightingale became famous during the Crimean War for her pioneering work in nursing. She established the first secular nursing school in the world at Thomas Hospital in London. Question 22. When did women in the gain the right to vote on the same terms as men? A. 1928, B. 1918, C. 1903, D. 1832. Answers is A. 1928. The Representation of the People Act 1918 gave some women over the age of 30 the right to vote. It was not until the Equal Franchise Act 1928 that women gained the right to vote on the same terms as men at age 21. Question 23. What event marked the beginning of the First World War in 1914? A. Assassination of Archduke Ferdinand, B. Invasion of Poland, C. Sinking of the Lusitania, D. Signing of the Treaty of Versailles. Answers is A. Assassination of Archduke Ferdinand. The assassination of Archduke Ferdinand of Austria in Sarajevo on 28 June 1914 triggered a series of events that led to the outbreak of the First World War in August 1914? Question 24. Which British Prime Minister led the country through much of the Second World War? A. Sir Churchill, B. Chamberlain, C. Clement, D. David George. Answers is A. Sir Churchill. Sir Churchill became Prime Minister in May 1940 and served until 1945, famously leading Britain during the darkest days of the Second World War with his powerful speeches. Question 25. In which year did the Second World War officially end? A. 1945, B. 1939, C. 1941, D. 1948. Answers is A. 1945. The Second World War ended in Europe on Day Victory in Europe on 8 May 1945, and globally with Japan's surrender on VJ Day Victory over Japan on 15 August 1945. Question 26. What was the name of the Allied invasion of Normandy on 6 June 1944? A. Turning point in A. D-Day, B. Operation Dynamo, C. Operation Market Garden, D. The Battle of Britain. Answers is A. D-Day. D-Day, 6 June 1944, was the day on which Allied forces launched the largest seaborne invasion in history, landing on the beaches of Normandy, France, to begin the liberation of Western Europe from Nazi Germany. Question 27. In which year was the National Health Service established, providing free healthcare for all? A. 1948, B. 1938, C. 1958, D. 1968. Answers is A. 1948. The National Health Service was launched on 5 July 1948 by the then Minister of Health, based on the principle that healthcare should be free at the point of delivery for all citizens. Question 28. Which major sporting event did London host in both 1948 and 2012? A. The Olympic Games, B. The Commonwealth Games, C. The FIFA World Cup, D. The Rugby World Cup. Answers is A. The Olympic Games. London has had the honour of hosting the Summer Olympic Games 3 times, in 1908, 1948 known as the Austerity Games, and most recently in 2012. Question 29. What is the name of the current monarch of the United Kingdom? A. King Charles, B. Queen Elizabeth, C. King William v. D. King George. Answers is A. King Charles. King Charles ascended to the throne on 8 September 2022 upon the death of his mother, Queen Elizabeth. Question 30. What is the official residence and principal workplace of the monarch in London? A. Palace, B. Windsor Castle, C. Palace of D. Kensington Palace. Answers is A. Palace. Palace is the administrative headquarters of the monarch and a key symbol of the British monarchy, in Westminster, London. Question 31. Who is the head of government in the United Kingdom? A. The Prime Minister, B. The Monarch, C. The Speaker of the House of Commons, D. The Lord Chancellor. Answers is A. The Prime Minister. The Prime Minister is the leader of the government and the political head of the United Kingdom. They lead the cabinet and are responsible for government policy. Question 32. What are the two main houses that make up the Parliament? A. House of Commons and House of Lords. B. House of and Senate. C. General Assembly and National Council. D. Lower House and Upper House. Answers is A. House of Commons and House of Lords. The Parliament is bicameral, consisting of the House of Commons, where elected members of Parliament sit, and the House of Lords, made up of appointed and hereditary peers. Question 33. How often are general elections held under the Act? A. Every 5 years. B. Every 4 years. C. Every 6 years. D. At the monarch's discretion. Answers is A. Every 5 years. The Act 2011 set the term of Parliament at 5 years, meaning general elections are usually held every 5 years, unless an early election is triggered under specific conditions. Question 34. Which of these is a responsibility of all British citizens and permanent residents? A. To obey the law. B. To serve in the armed forces. C. To learn to drive. D. To vote in all elections. Answers is A. To obey the law. All citizens and permanent residents have a responsibility to obey the law, which is fundamental to maintaining a peaceful and orderly society. Question 35. Which devolved administration is responsible for its own education and health services? A. Scottish Parliament. B. Westminster Parliament. C. Greater London Authority. D. Regional English Councils. Answers is A. Scottish Parliament. The Scottish Parliament, established in 1999, has devolved powers over a range of matters including education, health, justice, and environmental issues within Scotland. Question 36. What is the official currency of the United Kingdom? A. Pound sterling. B. Euro. C. Dollar. D. Shilling. Answers is A. Pound sterling. The pound sterling is the official currency of the United Kingdom and it is one of the world's oldest still in use. Question 37. Which major river flows through London, playing a significant role in the city's history? A. River Thames. B. River Severn. C. River Mersey. D. River Clyde. Answers is A. River Thames. The River Thames is the longest river entirely within England and the second longest in the United Kingdom. It flows through London and has been vital for trade and transport throughout history. Question 38. What is the capital city of Scotland? A. Edinburgh. B. Glasgow. C. Aberdeen. D. Dundee. Answers is A. Edinburgh. Edinburgh is the capital city of Scotland and is renowned for its historic Old Town and New Town, which are both UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Question 39. What is the highest mountain in the United Kingdom? A. Ben Nevis. B. Mount Snowdon. C. Pike. D. Answers is A. Ben Nevis. Ben Nevis in Scotland is the highest mountain in the British, standing at 345 metres above sea level. Question 40. Which body is responsible for prosecuting criminal cases in England and Wales? A. Crown Prosecution Service. CPS. B. The Police. C. Her Majesty's Courts and Service, D. The Ministry of Justice. Answers is A. Crown Prosecution Service CPS. The Crown Prosecution Service CPS is the principal public prosecuting authority in England and Wales. Its role is to decide whether to prosecute cases by the police. Question 41. What is the national flower of England? A. Rose, B. Thistle, C. Daffodil, D. Shamrock. Answers is A. Rose. The rose has been a national emblem of England dating back to the Wars of the Roses, York's White Rose and Lancaster's Red Rose. Question 42. Which sport is considered the national sport of England and is widely played across the A. Football, soccer, B. Cricket, C. Rugby, D. Tennis. Answers is A. Football, soccer. Football, often referred to as soccer, is by far the most popular sport in England, and indeed the whole of with the Premier League being one of the leagues globally. Question 43. Who is considered one of the greatest playwrights in English literature, famous for Romeo and Juliet and Hamlet? A. William Shakespeare, B. Charles Dickens, C. Jane D. Answers is A. William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare is widely regarded as the greatest writer in the English language and the world's dramatist. His works include and Question 44. Which famous British children's author characters like Peter Rabbit and A. Beatrix Potter, B. Doll, C. C.S. Lewis, D. J.K. Answers is A. Beatrix Potter. Beatrix Potter was an English writer, illustrator, natural scientist, and conservationist. Her beloved children's books feature animal characters such as Peter Rabbit. Question 45. What is the traditional British dish consisting of battered fish and potato chips? A. Fish and chips, B. Roast dinner, C. Shepherd's pie, D. Full English breakfast. Answers is A. Fish and chips. Fish and chips is a popular takeaway food in the United Kingdom. It in the century and is often associated with British coastal towns. Question 46. Which traditional British celebration involves fireworks and bonfires on November? A. Bonfire Night, Guy Night, B. Halloween, C. Pancake Day, D. George's Day. Answers is A. Bonfire Night, Guy Night. Bonfire Night, also known as Guy Night, commemorates the failure of the Gunpowder Plot on 5 November 1605, when Guy attempted to blow up the Houses of Parliament. Question 47. What is the legal voting age for general elections in the United Kingdom? A. 18, B. 16, C. 21, D. 17. Answers is A. 18. In the United Kingdom, citizens are eligible to vote in general elections, local elections and referendums once they reach the age of 18. Question 48. What is the responsibility of every citizen regarding local services and national infrastructure? A. Paying taxes, B. Volunteering for charity, C. Reporting all crimes, D. Attending public meetings. Answers is A. Paying taxes. Paying taxes is a fundamental responsibility of citizens, to fund public services like health care, education, and infrastructure, contributing to the welfare of the whole society. Question 49. Who is the patron saint of England celebrated on April? A. St. George, B. St. Andrew, C. St. David, D. St. Answers is A. St. George. St. George is the patron saint of England, and his feast day, George's Day, is celebrated annually on 23 April. He is famously associated with the legend of slaying a dragon. Question 50. What is the name of the traditional Welsh folk musical instrument, A. type of harp? A. Triple harp, B. C. Pipes, D. Answers is A. Triple harp. The Welsh triple harp is a traditional instrument associated with Wales. It has 3 rows of strings, allowing for complex musical arrangements. Question 51. What significant Anglo-Saxon epic poem tells the story of a heroic warrior fighting monsters? A. Beowulf, B. The Canterbury Tales, C. D. Paradise Lost. Answers is A. Beowulf. Beowulf is an Old English epic poem consisting of 3 182 alliterative long lines, set in Scandinavia. It is one of the most important works of Old English literature. Question 52. Which Norman king ordered the creation of the Domesday Book, a great survey of England? A. William I the Conqueror, B. Henry, C. Edward I, D. Richard I. Answers is A. William I the Conqueror. William the Conqueror ordered the Domesday Book in 1085, 2 decades after his conquest. It was a comprehensive record of land ownership and value in England, primarily for tax purposes. Question 53. During the Middle Ages, what system of land ownership and social hierarchy was prevalent in England? A. Feudalism, B. Socialism, C. Capitalism, D. Communism. Answers is A. Feudalism. Feudalism was a dominant social and economic system in medieval Europe, including England. It was based on land tenure in exchange for service or labour, with a hierarchy from monarch to peasants. Question 54. Which king was known as Lionheart and was a prominent leader during the Third Crusade? A. Richard I, B. Edward, C. Henry V, D. John. Answers is A. Richard I. Richard I, known as Richard the Lionheart, was King of England from 1189 to 1199. He was a central figure in the Third Crusade against Saladin. Question 55. What was the name of the powerful Tudor queen who ruled England for 45 years and never married? A. Elizabeth I, B. Mary I, C. Victoria, D. Anne. Answers is A. Elizabeth I. Elizabeth I reigned as Queen of England and Ireland from 1558 until her death. Her reign is often called the Golden Age of English history, known for flourishing arts and exploration. Question 56. Which document, signed in 1689, established parliamentary supremacy and rights like freedom of speech in Parliament? A. The Bill of Rights, B. Magna, C. Petition of Right, D. Act of Settlement. Answers is A. The Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights 1689 was a landmark act in English constitutional law that set out certain individual rights, and established the supremacy of Parliament over the monarch, following the Glorious Revolution. Question 57. Who invented the steam engine, a key innovation of the Industrial Revolution? A. James Watt, B. George, C. Richard, D. Isaac Newton. Answers is A. James Watt. While earlier versions existed, James Watt significantly improved the steam engine in the late century, making it far more efficient and central to the Industrial Revolution. Question 58. What major infrastructure project was in 1863, providing a new way to travel across London? A. The London Underground Metropolitan Line, B. The Great Western Railway, C. Tower Bridge, D. The Suez Canal. Answers is A. The London Underground Metropolitan Line. The Metropolitan Railway, the world's first underground railway, opened in London in 1863. It was a groundbreaking achievement that transformed urban transport. Question 59. Which famous Victorian engineer built bridges, tunnels, and ships like the Great Britain? A. Kingdom, B. George, C. Thomas Telford, D. John. Answers is A. Kingdom. Kingdom was a brilliant and prolific British engineer who designed and built numerous bridges, railway lines, and ships, playing a crucial role in the Industrial Revolution. Question 60. Who founded the Metropolitan Police Service, the first modern police force in 1829? A. Robert Peel, B. Henry Fielding, C. Charles Dickens, D. William. Answers is A. Robert Peel. Sir Robert Peel, as Home Secretary, established the Metropolitan Police Force in London in 1829. His principles for policing are still influential today, with police often called or peelers. Question 61. What international organization was formed after World War to promote peace and cooperation? A. United Nations, B. League of Nations, C. NATO, D. Commonwealth of Nations. Answers is A. United Nations. The United Nations was established on 24 October 1945, with the aim of preventing future wars, fostering international cooperation, and promoting human rights. Question 62. Which major Commonwealth country, now independent, was famously referred to as the jewel in the crown of the British Empire? A. India, B. Canada, C. Australia, D. South Africa. Answers is A. India. India was considered the most valuable possession of the British Empire due to its vast resources, large population, and strategic importance, leading to its nickname the jewel in the crown. Question 63. What historic event in 1953 saw the coronation of Queen Elizabeth? A. Her coronation, B. Her silver jubilee, C. Her diamond jubilee, D. Her wedding to Prince Philip. Answers is A. Her coronation. Queen Elizabeth was crowned at Westminster Abbey on June 1953, a year after her accession to the throne. The event was televised and watched by millions worldwide. Question 64. What is the name of the national flag of the United Kingdom? A. The Union Flag, Union Jack, B. The Royal Standard, C. George's Cross, D. Saltire. Answers is A. The Union Flag, Union Jack. The Union flag, commonly known as the Union Jack, is the national flag of the United Kingdom. It is a superimposition of the flags of England George's Cross, Scotland Andrew's Cross, and Northern Ireland Cross. Question 65. Which royal castle in Berkshire is the oldest and largest inhabited castle in the world? A. Windsor Castle, B. Tower of London, C. Edinburgh Castle, D. Balmoral Castle. Answers is A. Windsor Castle. Windsor Castle has been a royal residence for over 900 years and is Queen Elizabeth's preferred weekend home, making it the palace in Europe. Question 66. What is the process called when a new law is approved by the monarch after passing through Parliament? A. Royal assent, B. Royal decree, C. Parliamentary approval, D. Crown prerogative. Answers is A. Royal assent. Royal assent is the method by which the monarch formally approves an Act of Parliament. Once royal assent is given, a bill becomes an Act of Parliament and part of the law. Question 67. Which document outlines the plans of the government presented by the monarch at the state opening of Parliament? A. The King's Speech or Queen's Speech, B. The Budget, C. The Green Paper, D. The White Paper. Answers is A. The King's Speech or Queen's Speech. The King's Speech, formerly Queen's Speech, outlines the government's agenda for the coming parliamentary session and is read by the monarch, though written by the government. Question 68. What is the role of the Speaker in the House of Commons? A. To keep order and ensure rules are followed, B. To lead the government's policy debates, C. To represent the monarch, D. To veto new laws. Answers is A. To keep order and ensure rules are followed. The Speaker is an impartial who presides over debates in the House of Commons, ensuring that the rules of procedure are followed and that all members have a fair chance to speak. Question 69. What is the capital city of Wales? A. Cardiff, B. Swansea, C. Newport, D. Answers is A. Cardiff. Cardiff has been the capital of Wales since 1955 and is its largest city, a major centre for business, culture and sports. Question 70. What is the national emblem of Wales, often worn on David's Day? A. Daffodil and leek, B. Shamrock, C. Thistle, D. Rose. Answers is A. Daffodil and leek. Both the daffodil and the leek are traditional national emblems of Wales. David's Day, celebrated on 1 March, often sees people wearing these symbols. Question 71. Which famous Roman city in Britain was known for its baths and mineral springs? A. Bath, B. York, C. London, D. Answers is A. Bath. The city of Bath, originally known as by the Romans, was famous for its natural hot springs and elaborate Roman baths, which are still a major tourist attraction today. Question 72. What is the main role of the police in the A. To maintain law and order and prevent crime, B. To collect taxes and national insurance, C. To run local council services, D. To debate and pass laws? Answers is A. To maintain law and order and prevent crime. The police force in the is responsible for upholding the law, preventing crime, detecting offenders, and maintaining public order, operating under the principle of policing by consent. Question 73. What is jury service, which is a civic duty for many citizens? A. Serving as a member of a jury in court. B. Volunteering for local government. C. Working for the emergency services. D. Participating in national defense. Answers is A. Serving as a member of a jury in court. Jury service is a legal obligation for eligible citizens in the are selected to hear evidence in criminal trials and decide on the guilt or innocence of the accused, based on the facts presented. Question 74. Which Scottish poet is famous for works like Old Sign and is celebrated on Burns Night? A. Robert Burns. B. Sir Walter Scott. C. Robert Louis. D. Answers is A. Robert Burns. Robert Burns is Scotland's national poet, celebrated worldwide. Burns Night on 25 January commemorates his birth with traditional suppers and recitations of his poetry. Question 75. What is the national dish of Scotland, often served with neeps and A. Haggis, B. Cullen skink, C. Scotch pie, D. Fish and chips? Answers is A. Haggis. Haggis is a savoury pudding containing sheep's pluck heart, liver and lungs, minced with onion, oatmeal, suet, spices and salt, traditionally in the animal's stomach. It's a key part of Burns night suppers. Question 76. What is the official title given to the monarch's representative in each of the Commonwealth realms? A. B. Prime Minister, C. High Commissioner, D. Ambassador. Answers is A. In the Commonwealth realms, the monarch's powers are delegated to A, who acts as the monarch's personal representative and performs constitutional. Question 77. Which famous landmark in London is A. Clock Tower that houses the Great Bell? A. Big Ben Elizabeth Tower, B. London Eye, C. The Shard, D. Tower Bridge. Answers is A. Big Ben Elizabeth Tower. Big Ben is the nickname for the Great Bell of the Clock at the north end of the Palace of Westminster in London. The tower itself was officially Elizabeth Tower in 2012. Question 78. What is the name of the Legislative Assembly in Northern Ireland? A. Northern Ireland Assembly, B. C. Parliament, D. Northern Ireland Council. Answers is A. Northern Ireland Assembly. The Northern Ireland Assembly at Parliament Buildings is the devolved legislature for Northern Ireland, with powers over local matters such as health, education and agriculture. Question 79. What is the capital city of Northern Ireland? A. Belfast, B. Dublin, C. Cork, D. Answers is A. Belfast. Belfast is the capital and largest city of Northern Ireland on the banks of the River Lagan. It is a major economic and cultural centre. Question 80. Which major sporting event involves boats racing on the River Thames between Oxford and Cambridge? A. The boat race, B. Henley Royal Regatta, C. The Grand National, D. Wimbledon. Answers is A. The boat race. The boat race is an annual rowing race between the Oxford University Boat Club and the Cambridge University Boat Club, rowed along the River Thames in London. Question 81. Who wrote Pride and Prejudice and Sense and Sensibility, classic novels of manners? A. Jane, B. Charlotte, C. Mary Shelley, D. George. Answers is A. Jane. Jane was an English novelist known primarily for her 6 major novels, which interpret, critique, and comment upon the British landed gentry at the end of the century. Question 82. What is the name of the annual tennis tournament held in London, famous for its grass courts? A. Wimbledon Championships, B. French Open, C. US Open, D. Australian Open. Answers is A. Wimbledon Championships. The Wimbledon Championships is the oldest tennis tournament in the world and is widely considered the most prestigious. It is the only Grand Slam event still played on grass courts. Question 83. What is the tradition of pantomime often associated with Christmas in the A musical comedy stage show for B. A silent film festival, C. A historical reenactment, D. A serious dramatic play? Answers is A musical comedy stage show for. British pantomime is a musical comedy stage production, developed from and popular during Christmas and New Year. It often includes audience participation, cross-dressing, and contemporary jokes. Question 84. What is the primary right associated with freedom of speech in the A. to express opinions without fear of arbitrary punishment, B. to say anything at any time without consequence, C. to publish false information without restriction, D. to protest anywhere without permission? Answers is A. to express opinions without fear of arbitrary punishment. Freedom of speech in the allows individuals to express their opinions freely, but it is not absolute and is subject to certain legal limitations, such as laws against incitement to hatred or defamation. Question 85. Which court typically deals with less serious criminal cases in England and Wales? A. Court, B. Crown Court, C. High Court, D. Supreme Court. Answers is A. Court. Courts handle over of criminal cases in England and Wales, including summary offences, minor crimes, and preliminary hearings for more serious cases. Question 86. What is the role of the monarch in the unwritten constitution? A. Head of state, B. Head of government, C. Chief Justice, D. Speaker of Parliament. Answers is A. Head of state. The monarch is the head of state in the A largely ceremonial role, while the Prime Minister is the head of government, holding executive power. Question 87. What is the traditional name for the King's official birthday celebration held in June? A. Trooping the Colour, B. State Opening of Parliament, C. Royal Ascot, D. Remembrance Day. Answers is A. Trooping the Colour. Trooping the Colour is a parade held annually in London to mark the King's official birthday. It involves over 400 parading soldiers, 200 horses, and 400 musicians. Question 88. Which Act merged the English and Scottish Parliaments to form the Parliament of Great Britain? A. Acts of Union 1707, B. Act of Settlement 1701, C. Treaty of Edinburgh 1706, D. Union with Ireland Act 1800. Answers is A. Acts of Union 1707. The Acts of Union 1707 were 2 parliamentary acts passed in 1706 and 1707 by the Parliament of England and the Parliament of Scotland, respectively, uniting the 2 kingdoms into Great Britain. Question 89. What is the collective term for the monarch, the House of Lords, and the House of Commons? A. Parliament, B. Government, C. The Cabinet, D. The Privy Council. Answers is A. Parliament. In the constitutional system, Parliament refers to the three components: the sovereign monarch, the House of Lords, and the House of Commons, all working together to make laws. Question 90. Which parts of the form Great Britain? A. England, Scotland, and Wales. B. England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. C. England and Wales. D. England and Scotland. Answers is A. England, Scotland, and Wales. Great Britain is the largest island in the British and comprises thereof England, Scotland, and Wales. The United Kingdom includes Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Question 91. What is the national emblem of Scotland, known for its prickly nature? A. Thistle, B. Shamrock, C. Rose, D. Daffodil. Answers is A. Thistle. The thistle has been the national emblem of Scotland since the century. Legend says it protected Scottish warriors from a Viking attack. Question 92. Which famous British composer wrote the Suite and Pomp and Circumstance marches? A. Edward, B. C. Benjamin, D. Ralph Williams. Answers is A. Edward. Sir Edward was an English composer whose works are among the of British classical music, including the widely popular Pomp and Circumstance marches. Question 93. What is the name of the popular British soap opera set in Manchester? A. Coronation Street, B. C. D. Answers is A. Coronation Street. Coronation Street is a British soap opera first broadcast on 9 December 1960. It is set in a fictional street in a suburb of Greater Manchester and is one of the programmes in the world. Question 94. What is Hogmanay, a significant celebration in Scotland? A. New Year's Eve, B. Christmas Day, C. Andrew's Day, D. Burns Night. Answers is A. New Year's Eve. Hogmanay is the Scots word for New Year's Eve, and it is a major celebration in Scotland, often featuring fireworks, ceilidh dancing, and the singing of Old Sign. Question 95. Which ancient Celtic festival celebrated on October is still popular in the A. Halloween Samhain, B. Beltane, C. D. Answers is A. Halloween Samhain. Halloween, originating from the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain, is celebrated on 31 October with traditions like carving pumpkins and costume parties. Question 96. What is the responsibility of citizens to serve on a jury if called upon? A. Jury service, B. National service, C. Community service, D. Civil service. Answers is A. Jury service. Jury service is a legal duty in the requiring eligible citizens to participate in the justice system by acting as jurors in criminal trials. It is a cornerstone of the legal system. Question 97. What is the name of the British intelligence agency responsible for national security and A. Security Service, B. Secret Intelligence Service, C. D. Special Branch? Answers is A. Security Service. Officially known as the Security Service, is the domestic intelligence agency, primarily responsible for protecting national security from threats such as terrorism, espionage, and sabotage. Question 98. What is the longest river in the United Kingdom? A. River Severn, B. River Thames, C. River Trent, D. River Clyde. Answers is A. River Severn. The River Severn, at approximately 354 kilometers (220 miles), is the longest river in the United Kingdom, flowing through Wales and England into the Bristol Channel. Question 99. What is the common term for the period of Roman rule in Britain? A. Roman Britain, B. Roman Conquest, C. Roman Empire, D. Roman Britannia. Answers is A. Roman Britain. The period of Roman rule in Britain, beginning with the invasion in 43 AD and lasting until around 410 AD, is commonly known as Roman Britain or the Roman occupation of Britain. Question 100. Which Anglo-Saxon king is famous for uniting the English kingdoms against the Vikings and promoting education? A. Alfred the Great, B. King Offa, C. King Athelstan, D. Edward the Elder. Answers is A. Alfred the Great. Alfred the Great, King of Wessex, successfully defended his kingdom against Viking attempts at conquest and was instrumental in uniting Anglo-Saxon lands, laying the groundwork for England. He also learning. Question 101. What was the official language of government and law in England after the Norman conquest? A. Norman French, B. Latin, C. Old English, D. Middle English. Answers is A. Norman French. Following the Norman conquest in 1066, Norman French became the language of the ruling class and government in England, significantly influencing the development of the English language. Question 102. Which English king known for his military prowess won the battle of during the 100 Years' War? A. Henry v. B. Edward, C. Richard, D. Henry. Answers is A. Henry v. Henry v. King of England, achieved a decisive victory against a numerically superior French army at the Battle of in 1415, a key moment in the 100 Years' War. Question 103. Which Tudor monarch was known for having 6 wives? A. Henry, B. Edward, C. James I, D. Philip. Answers is A. Henry. King Henry reigned is famous for his 6 marriages and his role in the English Reformation, which led to the establishment of the Church of England. Question 104. What religious group in the century founded in North America seeking religious freedom? A. Pilgrim Fathers, B. Catholics, C. Quakers, D. Huguenots. Answers is A. Pilgrim Fathers. Though including the group known as the Pilgrim Fathers, left England in the early century due to religious persecution and established in North America, such as Plymouth Colony. Question 105. Which major scientific figure, born in 1642, developed the laws of motion and universal gravitation? A. Isaac Newton, B. Charles, C. Michael Faraday, D. Allen. Answers is A. Isaac Newton. Sir Isaac Newton was an English mathematician, physicist, astronomer, theologian, and author, who is widely recognized as one of the most influential scientists of all time. Question 106. What British invention, crucial for communication, was patented by Alexander Graham Bell? A. Telephone, B. Steam engine, C. Light bulb, D. Radio. Answers is A. Telephone. Alexander Graham Bell, a inventor, scientist, and engineer, is credited with patenting the first practical telephone in 1876. Question 107. What major global conflict took place from 1914 to 1918? A. First World War, B. Second World War, C. Crimean War, D. Boer War. Answers is A. First World War. The First World War, also known as the Great War, was a global war originating in Europe that lasted from 28 July 1914 to 11 November 1918. Question 108. During World War, what was the term for the German bombing campaign against British, particularly London? A. The Blitz, B. Operation, C. Attacks, D. The Battle of Britain. Answers is A. The Blitz. The Blitz was a sustained bombing campaign against the United Kingdom by Nazi Germany during the Second World War. The word Blitz is German for lightning, and the campaign lasted from September 1940 to May 1941. Question 109. What was the name of the policy that led to the nationalization of Key and the creation of the welfare state? A. The Consensus, B. Thatcherism, C. New Labour, D. The Great Reform. Answers is A. The Consensus. After World War, the Labour government led by Clement implemented extensive reforms, including the creation of the and nationalisation of light coal and railways, often referred to as the Consensus or the Consensus. Question 110. Which major event in 1973 marked the entry into the European Economic Community? A. Accession to the B. The Agreement, C. The Maastricht Treaty, D. Formation of the Eurozone. Answers is A. Accession to the United Kingdom joined the European Economic Community, the predecessor to the European Union, on 1 January 1973, following a period of political debate and application. Question 111. What is the collective name for the major political party leaders and senior ministers who form the government? A. The Cabinet, B. Shadow Cabinet, C. The Privy Council, D. The Front Bench. Answers is A. The Cabinet. The Cabinet is a committee of senior ministers, chaired by the Prime Minister, which forms the executive branch of the government and makes key policy decisions. Question 112. What are the three core principles of the British Police Service, established by Sir Robert Peel? A. Policing by consent, impartiality, minimum force, B. Force, arrest, detainment, C. Surveillance, investigation, prosecution, D. Order, punishment, deterrence. Answers is A. Policing by consent, impartiality, minimum force. Principles of policing emphasize that the police are citizens in uniform, derive their authority from public consent, use minimum necessary force, and maintain impartiality. Question 113. Which British architect is famous for rebuilding cathedral after the Great Fire of London? A. Sir Christopher Wren, B. Jones, C. Robert Adam, D. John Nash. Answers is A. Sir Christopher Wren. Sir Christopher Wren was one of England's most acclaimed architects. He was largely responsible for rebuilding 52 churches in the City of London after the Great Fire, including his masterpiece, Cathedral. Question 114. What is the name of the traditional Irish folk dance often performed at social gatherings? A. Ceilidh, B. Dance, C. Highland Fling, D. Flamenco. Answers is A. Ceilidh. A Ceilidh pronounced is a traditional Scottish or Irish social gathering involving folk music, singing and traditional dancing. It is a common part of social life in these regions. Question 115. Which major landmark is a prehistoric monument in Wiltshire, England, consisting of standing stones? A. Stonehenge, B. Hadrian's Wall, C. The White Cliffs of Dover, D. Giant's Causeway. Answers is A. Stonehenge. Stonehenge is a prehistoric monument in Wiltshire, England, consisting of a ring of standing stones. It is to have been constructed between 3000 and 2000 and is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Question 116. What is the name of the legislative body in Wales? A. Senedd Cymru Welsh Parliament, B. Welsh Assembly, C. National Assembly of Wales, D. Cymru. Answers is A. Senedd Cymru Welsh Parliament. Senedd Cymru, or the Welsh Parliament, is the devolved Parliament of Wales. It has the power to make laws for Wales and to vary Welsh taxes. It was previously known as the National Assembly for Wales. Question 117. What is the traditional British custom of having an afternoon meal with tea and cakes? A. Afternoon tea, B. Elevenses, C. High tea, D. Cream tea. Answers is A. Afternoon tea. Afternoon tea is a small meal, typically eaten between 3:30 p.m. and 5 p.m., that in the century. It usually consists of a selection of scones with clotted cream and jam and cakes served with tea. Question 118. Which Scottish explorer and missionary was famous for his expeditions in Africa and discovery of Victoria Falls? A. David, B. Mungo Park, C. James Cook, D. Ernest. Answers is A. David. David was a Scottish physician, Congregationalist pioneer Christian missionary with the London Missionary Society, and explorer in Africa. He was the first European to see Victoria Falls. Question 119. What is the purpose of the House of Lords in the Parliament? A. To scrutinise legislation and hold the government accountable. B. To initiate all new laws and budgets. C. To elect the Prime Minister. D. To represent specific geographical. Answers is A. To scrutinise legislation and hold the government accountable. The House of Lords primarily acts as a revising chamber, scrutinising legislation passed by the House of Commons, debating public policy, and holding the government accountable. It cannot block money bills. Question 120. Which famous British scientist developed the theory of evolution by natural selection? A. Charles, B. Isaac Newton, C. Stephen Hawking, D. Albert Einstein. Answers is A. Charles. Charles was an English naturalist, geologist, and biologist, best known for his contributions to the science of evolution. His theory of evolution by natural selection was presented in his book On the Origin of Species. Question 121. What is the name of the independent body that supervises elections and regulates political finance in the A. The Electoral Commission, B. The Boundary Commission, C. The Parliament Office, D. The Privy Council? Answers is A. The Electoral Commission. The Electoral Commission is an independent body set up by the Parliament. It oversees elections and regulates political party funding to ensure fairness and transparency. Question 122. What important legal principle ensures no one is above the law, including the government? A. Rule of law, B. Parliamentary sovereignty, C. Separation of powers, D. Judicial review. Answers is A. Rule of law. The rule of law is a fundamental principle of the Constitution. It means that all individuals and institutions, including the government, are accountable to laws that are publicly, equally enforced and independently. Question 123. What is the traditional Scottish garment made of tartan fabric, often worn on formal occasions? A. Kilt, B. Sari, C. Toga, D. Kimono. Answers is A. Kilt. The kilt is a garment with pleats at the rear, originating in the traditional dress of Gaelic men and boys in the Scottish Highlands. It is often made from tartan fabric. Question 124. Which famous British band spearheaded the British invasion of the with hits like Hey? A. The Beatles, B. The Rolling Stones, C. The Kinks, D. Led Zeppelin. Answers is A. The Beatles. The Beatles, formed in Liverpool in 1960, became one of the most commercially successful and critically acclaimed acts in music history, leading the British invasion into the Question 125. What is the name of the annual music festival held in, known for its diverse lineup and large size? A. Glastonbury Festival, B. Reading Festival, C. Isle of Wight Festival, D. Download Festival. Answers is A. Glastonbury Festival. The Glastonbury Festival of Contemporary Performing Arts, commonly abbreviated to Glastonbury, is a festival of contemporary performing arts that takes place near England. Question 126. What is the role of a Member of Parliament? A. To represent their constituents and debate legislation, B. To serve as a judge in criminal courts, C. To advise the monarch on royal affairs, D. To manage local council services. Answers is A. To represent their constituents and debate legislation. Members of Parliament are elected to represent a particular constituency in the House of Commons. Their main roles are to scrutinise government policy, debate legislation, and represent the interests of their constituents. Question 127. Which famous economist from Scotland wrote The Wealth of Nations in 1776? A. Adam Smith, B. John, C. David Ricardo, D. Marx. Answers is A. Adam Smith. Adam Smith was a Scottish economist and philosopher. His work The Wealth of Nations is considered a foundational text of classical economics, advocating for free markets and limited government intervention. Question 128. Which British scientist, known for his work at Park, is considered the father of theoretical computer science? A. Alan. B. Stephen Hawking. C. Tim D. Charles. Answers is A. Alan. Alan was a brilliant British mathematician and computer scientist. He played a crucial role in cracking the Enigma code during World War at Park and laid much of the theoretical groundwork for modern computers. Question 129. What is the name of the system where the monarch has limited powers and acts on the advice of elected ministers? A. Constitutional monarchy. B. Absolute monarchy. C. Republic. D. Direct democracy. Answers is A. Constitutional monarchy. There is a constitutional monarchy, meaning the monarch's power is limited by the Constitution and exercises powers only on the advice of ministers who are accountable to Parliament. Question 130. Which of these is a correct statement about the voting system in general elections? A. First past the post. B. Proportional representation. C. Alternative vote. D. System. Answers is A. First past the post. For general elections, the system used is first past the post. Voters choose a candidate, and the candidate with the most votes in each constituency wins a seat in the House of Commons. Question 131. What is the meaning of the traditional British toast the King or the Queen? A. A loyal salute to the monarch as head of state. B. A wish for good fortune in war. C. A welcome greeting to visitors. D. A toast to the success of the government. Answers is A loyal salute to the monarch as head of state. Toasting the King or the Queen is a long-standing British tradition, serving as a loyal salute and expression of allegiance to the reigning monarch as the head of state. Question 132. Which British institution is responsible for broadcasting public service radio and television? A. The British Broadcasting Corporation. B. C. Channel 4. D. Sky. Answers is A. The British Broadcasting Corporation. Founded in 1922, is the world's oldest national broadcasting organization and the largest broadcaster in the world by number of employees. It operates under a royal charter and is funded primarily by the television license fee. Question 133. Which famous British band from the album The Dark Side of the Moon? A. Pink. B. Queen. C. Led Zeppelin. D. The Clash. Answers is A. Pink. Pink were an English rock band formed in London in 1965. They achieved international acclaim with their progressive and psychedelic music, and The Dark Side of the Moon 1973 is one of the albums of all time. Question 134. What is the name of the traditional Cornish pastry filled with meat and vegetables? A. Cornish pasty. B. Shepherd's pie. C. Yorkshire pudding. D. Welsh rarebit. Answers is A. Cornish pasty. The Cornish pasty is a traditional baked pastry associated with Cornwall, England. It is made from pastry, filled with beef, sliced potato, sweet rutabaga, onion and seasoning. Question 135. What is a bank holiday in the A public holiday when banks and most businesses are closed. B. A day when banks offer special discounts. C. A holiday only for bank employees. D. A day when people exchange old banknotes. Answers is A public holiday when banks and most businesses are closed. Bank holidays are public holidays in the United Kingdom. On these days, banks and many businesses and schools close. Most bank holidays are observed throughout but some are specific to certain. Question 136. What is the main purpose of the Human Rights Act 1998 in the A. To incorporate the European Convention on Human Rights into law, B. To establish a new Bill of Rights for British citizens, C. To create a European Court of Human Rights, D. To replace all common law rights with new statutory rights. Answers is A. To incorporate the European Convention on Human Rights into law. The Human Rights Act 1998 made the rights set out in the European Convention on Human Rights enforceable in courts. This means that public must act compatibly with these rights, and individuals can seek redress in courts. Question 137. What legal document allows an individual to decide what will happen to their property after death? A will, B, a deed, C, a contract, D, a power of attorney. Answers is A will. A will is a legal document by which a person their wishes as to how their property is to be distributed at death, and names one or more persons, their executor, to manage their estate until its final distribution. Question 138. What is the name of the hiking trail that runs along the border between England and Scotland? A. Way, B. Offa's Dyke Path, C. South West Coast Path, D. Coast to Coast Walk. Answers is A. Way. The Way is a national trail that stretches from in the Peak District to Kirk in the Scottish borders, covering some of England's most rugged and spectacular uplands. Question 139. Which famous Roman general led the initial invasion of Britain in 43 AD? A. B. Julius Caesar, C. Hadrian, D. Claudius. Answers is A. While Julius Caesar made earlier expeditions, the successful Roman conquest of Britain began in 43 AD under Emperor Claudius, with as the first Roman governor. Question 140. What was the name of the Anglo-Saxon system of local, later influencing English common law? A. Witan Wittenagemote, B. 100 Courts, C. Shire Moots, D. Answers is A. Witan Wittenagemote. The Wittenagemote, or Witan, was an assembly of leading men bishops, thanes in Anglo-Saxon England who advised the king. It was an important precursor to Parliament. Question 141. Which English monarch signed the Magna, albeit reluctantly? A. King John, B. Henry, C. Edward I, D. Richard I. Answers is A. King John. King John was forced by a group of powerful barons to sign Magna in 1215 at Runnymede, following discontent over his taxation and autocratic rule. Question 142. What was the name of the civil conflict that resulted in King Charles I's execution? A. The English Civil War, B. The Wars of the Roses, C. The Glorious Revolution, D. The Revolt. Answers is A. The English Civil War. The English Civil War was a series of armed conflicts between parliamentarians, Roundheads, and Cavaliers that led to the execution of King Charles I in 1649. Question 143. Which powerful Scottish clan led the Jacobite Rising in 1745, attempting to restore the Stuart monarchy? A. Clan, B. Clan Campbell, C. Clan, D. Clan Stuart. Answers is A. Clan. While many clans supported the Jacobite cause, the 1745 Rising, led by Prince Charlie, saw significant support from clans such as the Rising ended with the Battle of. Question 144. What British invention developed during was crucial for detecting enemy aircraft? A. Radar, B. Jet engine, C. Penicillin, D. The tank. Answers is A. Radar. Radar radio detection and ranging technology was developed during the and played a vital role in the Battle of Britain and throughout World War by detecting incoming enemy aircraft. Question 145. Which British scientist the structure of A. Francis Crick, B. Alexander Fleming, C. Franklin, D. Tim Hunt? Answers is A. Francis Crick. Francis Crick, along with James Watson and Franklin, was instrumental in discovering the double helix structure of in 1953, a monumental achievement in biology. Question 146. What is the collective term for the senior judges of forming the highest court of appeal? A. The Supreme Court, B. The Law Lords, C. The Judicial Committee, D. The High Court Judges. Answers is A. The Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is the final court of appeal for all civil cases, and for criminal cases from England, Wales and Northern Ireland. Its 12 are known as the Supreme Court. Question 147. What is the traditional British custom of dancing? A. A form of English folk dance accompanied by music, B. A type of Scottish country dancing, C. A traditional Irish step dance, D. A Welsh choral singing tradition. Answers is A form of English folk dance accompanied by music. Dance is a form of English folk dance usually accompanied by music. It is based on rhythmic stepping and the execution of choreographed figures by a group of dancers, often using sticks, handkerchiefs or bells. Question 148. Which famous children's author and his friends in the 100-Acre Wood? A. B. Lewis, C. Enid, D. J. M. Answers is A. A was an English author, best known for his books about the teddy bear and for various poems. The stories are set in forest in East Sussex, England. Question 149. What is the name given to the period of adjustment for new immigrants, especially from the Commonwealth in Britain? A. Generation Era, B. Great Migration Era, C. Commonwealth Era, D. Era. Answers is A. Generation Era. The generation refers to the people who from Caribbean between 1948 and 1971, often responding to labour shortages. The name comes from the ship empire, which brought one of the first large groups of Caribbean immigrants. Question 150. What is the name of the famous British art gallery on the south bank of the River Thames in London? A. Tate Modern, B. National Gallery, C. British Museum, D. Victoria and Albert Museum. Answers is A. Tate Modern. Tate Modern is a modern and contemporary art museum in the former Bankside Power Station on the south bank of the River Thames in London. It is part of the Tate network of